Welcome to Shambhavi Spectrum, Marketing Magic and Industry Insights. Today it is my pleasure to invite Ahmed Mohsen, who's been cruising the skies for 12 years and now he is cruising onto the space with his venture Colabz. And the word which came out and struck me was Mars. And there are so many exciting things which I loved about their website. And I'm going to hand it over to Ahmed to talk about their entrepreneurship. By the way, he's a founder with 4 companies, but right now we are going to start with Colabz. Welcome, Ahmed. Thank you so much for giving me this time.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for having me today. Such a pleasure to see your face always, and so much we learn from you. So very happy to be here again. I'll talk a little bit about Colabz first. My name is Ahmed. I'm a co-founder of a company called Colabz. Colabz is mainly a digital agency, a digital marketing agency, but we focus more on technology-focused solutions and how we can use technology and data to provide to the customers and our consumers. What we do is mainly we focus on you having an idea. We sit down with you and we listen to you, and then we give you the best and how you can get this idea out there to the market. Whether that's through a piece of branding or branding and how you speak your language, your brand persona and everything, and how you speak to your customers, how you look on social media, how you talk on social media, and also that would reflect on your website and eventually your solution at the end. We come from an experience of startups and raising funds and being through all the hardships of a startup. So whenever we work with a customer, we always think about what worked for us, that we can make that would work for them as well. So that's mainly Colabz in a nutshell.
So actually, startup, funding, all these are the most happening words right now, particularly
Absolutely.
in the UAE, right?
Yeah.
So it's great that you have experience with this. And another thing, sometime back, somebody had told me that mostly people who do, support for digital marketing or for SEO or SEM themselves, they have very terrible websites and they don't have time to do it. But I just loved your website and I'll be sharing the link of that little later. And so tell me a little bit more about when did you start Colabz, how, why, what was the reason that and also the name, please tell me from there.
Yes, absolutely. So the thing is, Colabz is a fairly new company in the UAE for sure. We're only been in the market for almost 11 months now. However, our background comes from, I'm Egyptian, so my first company was in Egypt, my first startup in Egypt. And our company in Egypt does mainly advertisement, and it's a technology company. So we come from an advertisement background, Egypt being big in that section in the Middle East. So we have about 5-6 years of experience in Egypt, and then we try to expand that into the UAE and the Gulf area through Colabz, through a different arm of the company under the digital marketing umbrella. The word Colabz comes from collaboration. It was chosen by my wife and my co-founder, Nadia Patel. So we thought that we wanted to have a name that comes out from we collaborate with you. And we don't just sell you. We're not just a name, because this is really what we do when we sit with our customers. Is that I always say this, it might come out very cheesy, but I always do it and say it, is that when we sit down with customers, we tell them we work together or not. Consider this as a free consultancy. You can take it or not, and we just put down our ideas and put down what we think should be good for you and why does it work and why you need to do this. So we get into more details about why it's good for you, more than we do it. It's more of why does it work, and that's our little story here.
Very nice. And let me tell you, as a faculty who teaches branding, when you add the alphabet Z to anything, it's supposed to make it more exciting and easy to remember. So I think you've just hit the exact spot in the mind of the customer, the way you want to position yourself. It's very nice you say that you are ready to share whatever you think the customer needs without really looking for a payout before you've given, because history and everything in marketing and branding has proven that the more you give, the more likely you are to get. And we share so many stories like this. So I think yours is another one added to my the small repertoire of the stories. So that's really nice. Thank you very much. Tell me more about, you said you're doing the branding and the website, digital marketing completely. Run me through a process, Ahmed. Let's say that I contacted you. Of course, you've already given me all the information. Like you said, you do it free. And so do you dedicate a time for this? Let's say 30 minutes, 45 minutes is, in your mind, you take a cutout and say, okay, this is the time I will spend, or is it just, and I'm talking about the free consultation part.
Yes. So no. So we usually I set meetings beforehand. So when we get a customer that is interested in our services, I put it on my calendar. I usually do an hour and a half. I think 30 minutes is a bit, because the thing is, like, a lot of our customers, they don't know they have a problem until you tell them they have a problem. So they might come in thinking that social media, like I had a few clients where they think they need to work on their social media, while what they actually need to work on is their SEO or their customer reviews or their website being faster or any of sort. So we don't just go like, we do exactly what you want. Yes, 100% you're the customer, but at the end, some customers don't know what the problem is. So sometimes the call can go all the way from talking about a very small subject that they think they have a problem with, to another subject where we highlight, okay, this is what you need to work on, coming from a consultancy, giving them the consultancy and help they need. So yeah, it takes about an hour and a half.
That is a lot. That is a lot of time. 90 minutes is a lot of time, and it's a really in-depth study. I appreciate that. The next pain point which most people have when they have their websites developed, is that, first of all, websites are work in progress. And, as you go along, you keep changing. And then usually a company charges you an X amount and says that for 3 months we'll do support and maybe so many iterations.
Yes.
What happens after that? Because people still keep searching. And like I said, so do you have a system whereby you provide a support service, maybe for an additional charge, like how you have extended warranty over products? So do you do something like that?
Yes, 100%. So first, it depends on the product we provide to the client. So we have, there's two ways of developing websites nowadays. There's a way where we call it a custom way, where you literally build all the bricks of the website. So you build the front end, the design, the back end, you build the whole system for the client. And those are usually a bit more high tickets clients and high tickets website. We're talking about solutions and big solutions and so on, and maybe big corporate kind of on the side of the corporate. But clients that, and for those clients that are that big, we usually charge them a percentage of the project yearly to maintain their website. So we give them the 3 months maintenance, support and maintenance. And then once that expires, we charge them, if they'd like to do it, we charge them 20% of the project price. But we also cap it so that it's not outrageous amounts. And then we charge that yearly. The maintenance includes security, updating the website, making sure nothing is wrong with the website. It doesn't include us adding more features to the website, because usually that's a different discussion. But we make sure your website is up and running and there's nothing wrong with it. And if there's anything you have problem with or a bug you find or anything, you give us a call, or we actually do it as well. Like, we're proactive as well, so they don't always have to call us. And then we do it. When it comes to smaller businesses, usually the websites for them is mainly like a business card. You can call it a business card, more or less. So it's more about a landing page and about us and the team and the contact us and maybe the location, for example. So those websites are not complicated. So we don't go and reinvent the wheel, as we call it in our business. We just do a solution that's there. So we use something called WordPress. It's still custom made for you. It's still not a template. It's still something that you will be unique from anyone else because there's design into it. But the good thing about this solution for a small business owner is that it gives them the ability to be able to go and put the content they want. If they want to put a blog post or if they want to change a picture, they don't have to go through the actual code of the website to get it done. So it removes the layer of complexity for them, where they don't have to be very tech savvy to do it. However, we do still offer those clients a yearly fee where we what we include in that is that we do the hosting, we give them the email accounts as well, and we do the support when it comes to maintenance and updates and security and so on. So we charge that on a yearly basis. And yeah, so either or, it's a yearly basis, but the price differs depending on the complexity of the project and how big the project is. 100%, yeah.
So whether it should be WordPress or Wix is an ongoing discussion in all the networks that I'm in, and I will catch you on that another day. But tell me, I saw that your website has a blog. Tell me more about it.
Okay, so our blog is mainly directed into giving value, but also we're very SEO oriented. So what we're trying to do, being a new company in the market and not having much authority on the web, we always say that if Google loves you, so Google only starts loving you if everyone else loves you. So we don't have that authority yet on the web. So we're trying to prove authority. And the way for Google that knows that you're a subject matter expert is by you providing content about the matter. And that's when they start ranking you. So our blog is mainly geared towards providing value for people, informational content, and it's very SEO oriented. So we do target certain keywords. We don't do it randomly. So we have a strategy on how we want to do it. Like we usually pick a topic, and then we call it topic clusters, and then we build a cluster of topics around that one topic. And there's also a marketing concept behind it, where at one point we want to, I don't know if this is the right thing to say on this platform or not, but we want the customer to stay on the website. We are pointing out the problem for them, if you get my point. And then at one point, we don't spam them, overselling them or anything like this. But if we can catch their email, we can give them a freebie. You know, it's I think you're the expert when it comes to this. So I think you know what to do with our blog.
No, we are learning. Yeah, but the terms stickiness, bounce rate, all those are jargon which are used by marketing students. But here, my audience could be anybody. So when you say in simple terms that you want them to be hanging out there longer, I think that involves that is more comprehensive in its meaning and understanding, and which is true, and which I can say that I actually looked up every part of the website. Though you might think that I did this because I was going to talk to you, which is true in a way. Like research is important, and you would agree with me that research on the client is important. But I would also say that it was interesting to see it. There were not too many visuals, and there was a background. There were not too many visuals. The colors were simple but colorful. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's going to go crazy wondering what am I talking about. But I will I will give the links. So I'm sure people will get a better idea about it.
Thank you. I'm glad I get that feedback from you. That's
yes, of course. I'm always happy to share my positive feedback, because this is another thing about feedback. Most of the time, customers give the negative feedback, and that's what gets highlighted. But because I think being in the marketing, I realize that how much positive feedback is required, and I try to do that whenever possible. So now you said you're 11 months old. That means the birthday is coming up for Colabz. What plans do you have?
Okay, so right now, so the Colabz was made under with one ultimate goal. The ultimate goal for us is to provide a solution, a tech solution, that would solve a certain problem in the market. So we are in the process of always doing our research and development on what solution could that be. When we talk about a solution, we're talking about a tech product, like software as a service kind of product, where you go online and this solution can help you save you some time and save you some problems. This is our ultimate goal. The more we stay in that market, the more we learn about that market, and the more we learn about the pain points. So we do have certain ideas. They're not 100% mature yet, but our ultimate goal with Colabz is to provide a software as a service solution where people can get whether it's a sales funnel done or a digital marketing need done. It has not yet been fully formed, the idea, but it's growing, and it's going in a very healthy direction, which I'm happy with.
Okay, so you used the word we many times.
Yes.
Tell me, Ahmed, who is there behind this we?
There's a team. There's also my wife as well. I also have another shareholder who's my high school friend. I know him all my life. So when I say we, even if a lot of the work is being done from my part, but it's always for me. I really think that the team is a big part behind it. So because I can take a decision, but if I don't have the team behind it, then there's no results. So that's why I always say we.
So you have a number of employees working with you?
Absolutely, yes. But they are not based in Dubai. They are based in Egypt. Only the business development is in Dubai.
Okay. And but tell me, what type of a leader do you think you are?
I'm a people person, 100%. So I do have a moment where I can switch to be very, very serious, but I'm more into the direction of developing people. And I'm really not saying this to look good in front of people. I've been told this by my partner in Egypt. Like he's the person that's a bit sometimes a bit impatient with people and so on. But I'm more into, okay, let's learn. If there's something you don't know, let's sit down, let's learn. Okay, what course you need that would make you better in that position. And I do invest in the learnings of the employees 100%. I believe in this 100%, not because I was born like this, no, because I used to work for a multinational company where this was their behavior, and invested so much in my development that now I feel like if I invest in the development of people, then you will get back, and you build loyalty with the client, with your employees as well. I don't know. I like to be a people person. I can be very serious. I don't put people first or business first. It's not a competition between both of them. But if you ask me, I'm more of a people manager or a people leader, if you want to call it, than a business leader, 100%.
Right. And tell me something about everybody has a coach or a mentor or their role model, some people they look up to. Who are yours?
It's a very good question, actually. I don't have someone that I say, okay, I go to that person and speak. But my partner in Egypt that started the startup in Egypt, he's been running the show since day one. And every action I take right now in my life is based on a learning experience that I got from him, whether it was a failure or a success. So I look up to him and see, okay, this was handled this way. Maybe I can handle it in a different way, and so on. So he's not also my mentor because he's my best friend as well. So it's very hard to say that he's my mentor, but I learn a lot from his experiences, and I learn a lot from what I see around. I also have a community that I'm part of, and I think you are as well. So it's called, am I allowed to say the name here? It's fine?
Yeah, sure, please.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. It's called the One Network Community. And it's not like a mentorship, but it's more of like a team where I'm very comfortable picking up my phone and calling Dr. Shambavi and ask her, what do you think I should do? And I know that she would give me that advice without expecting anything in return. So I look at it as a big community where we're all giving value to each other. So if you may allow me to say so.
Yeah, I think I would like to say here, and I hope Sridhar listens to this later, that Sridhar, the person who created that community and who's a relationship marketing expert, he's he's really given us that platform and that comfort. And I've been there for longer and you have joined recently, but still we have the same comfort level. That is what I think Sridhar has done for us. So we can say in some ways that he's a mentor in that aspect for us.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Sridhar. And I hope you do hear this.
No problem.
Right. So, tell me a little bit more about your educational background. Did it help you to be where you are?
Yes, 100%. So I'll go a little bit before. Usually people talk about their high school, their college degree, but I want to take it to one step further because I was educated in a French school. So French was my first language at school. So I'm a French speaker. And this is something that is not very common where I come from. There's a lot of us, but not as big as Lebanon or the French-speaking countries in the Middle East. So this really helped me a lot to be multilingual and to speak to different people, and come out a bit different than the stereotype, or to try to break out of the stereotype, being Egyptian. As for my high school, my college degree, I went to a university called Ahbar al-Yom Academy. It's an Egyptian university. And I did a bachelor degree in business administration. I majored accounting and I minored marketing. So so I have a bachelor in accounting, pretty much in a nutshell.
Okay, so do you go back to your alumni, and are you a part of their mentoring or anything like that? Do you do any of that?
No, be completely honest, not my college one, but my high school, yes, I do 100%. So I have a bigger bond with my high school because I went to one school all my life. So there's a bigger bond there. Yeah. So I didn't change.
That's a stark contrast because I studied in 13 schools. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I went to only one. So the people I know, I've known them all my life. So this is where there's a bigger bond there.
And before you get the wrong idea, the schools didn't chuck me out. It was because of my father's nature of job that we kept moving.
No, it's all good. There's a reason for everything.
Yeah, and I think that was a learning in itself, new environments and
Yes.
getting on to new places.
Yes.
But having said that, Dubai is a very cosmopolitan place and very, very welcoming to everybody out here. Everyone has their comfort. So it's a great place to be in. Do you think that if it was not Dubai, any other place where you would have thought of starting something as Colabz?
Yes, I'm not. Let's not put it in the word of patriotism. It's not that at all. But I really do believe in my country a lot. So I did at one point want to go to Egypt and do it as well. Especially that we do have a big booming startup ecosystem. A lot of startups are booming. A lot of are getting good funds and so on. So I would have thought about Egypt as well. 100%. Dubai is like the upgrade version of Egypt, if we may call it. So it has everything that Egypt has and a little bit more. So that's why Dubai is very convenient for me to be here. So I'm actually very lucky to be here.
Yeah, you've used Egypt again so many times, and it's one of the places which I aspire to travel. So I hope, inshallah, I'll be doing that soon. Now.
Absolutely.
Let us talk a little bit about how do you market yourself? And we are talking now here about Colabz. How do you market yourself? Where all do you have your presence? And how do you track it?
Sure. So when we first started, my very first client was a word of mouth client, and it was actually our biggest client until then. And it was at the beginning, it was all word of mouth. We were a bit low on funds, so we didn't want to overly spend on marketing without seeing ROI. By the book, I usually put 30% on my marketing efforts of my revenues. So I decided that on the first year we had a plan, like a business strategy, and we achieved the business strategy in the first 6 months, which gave us a bit more freedom to take different decisions. And then now we're sitting down, and then we need to decide what we're going to do with with the second year. Because starting a business is not the hard part; it's scaling the business that is the hardest part. And getting it to different places. So our plan was to put a lot of money into marketing. When I say marketing, I said paid advertisements, as in whether on Google or on Instagram or on Facebook. However, I've met Sridhar again. So I've met Sridhar, and then that shifted the way I want to do things for the next year. So instead of that investment being put on marketing, and don't get me wrong, we have a lot of clients where we spend on their marketing, we handle their advertisement, and we see huge ROIs. It's not that we are scared of doing it, but we're just like trying to be efficient here with our funds. So the way we're going to market ourselves for the next year is going to be a big percentage of it is going to be through relationship marketing, network marketing, where we build up the community and get to know people and get connections knowing, not because of anything other than it worked for us so far, and it does work for us so far. So it's proven. So this is where our direction is going to be for the next year, 100%.
No, what you say is perfectly right, because ultimately it's word of mouth.
Yes.
And that is what we mean when we say relationship or referral. So that is what really makes it successful. So I agree with you on that. Yeah. But as of now, let's say you're doing blog. You also mentioned email that people would have. Do you track those? Do you track?
Yes. So we do the blogs. So we put a strategy for the words we want to rank for, and then we analyze the competition and we see what works for them, what doesn't work, why are they covering, and so on. So like it's a big strategy that we put on. And then once we get that out there, we have tools that allow us to track how are we ranking, how much traffic is this bringing in, is this keyword working for us or not, This is one way of doing it, and this is actually part of marketing. I'm glad you brought me up to this, because I didn't really give it enough focus. But the SEO and the blog content brings you organic traffic, which is a way of marketing. It's just a long process. So we do that, and we track it through tools that gives us the numbers to track our performance. We also do content on social media as well. So we try to give the value in a form of posts and videos on social media, so that people can learn from that as well, without having to go to a blog and read like 1,000 words a copy or something. The tracking, yes, all these tools, we have metrics and we have numbers, and we have our before and after numbers and our percentage of growth and so on, 100%.
So you have a Facebook page?
We have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. We're mostly focused on Instagram as well.
All right.
Yes.
So a small thing here, apparently the Facebook and Instagram, there's only 10% overlap of the population. So this is just the bit for anyone who's listening to us and who's deciding whether it should be Facebook or Insta. It can be both.
Yes.
And do you tweet? Are you on Twitter?
No, we have not started with Twitter yet. Actually, it's a place that we want to start, but we have not started yet, along with Snapchat as well.
Right. Yesterday, I was listening to somebody saying about Twitter that the maximum engagement apparently happens on Twitter, because people are ready to take action there. This is what I heard. So I thought I'll just share this with you. And yes, I had a very interesting discussion, which I heard on Snapchat. Again, this is a personal thing that Snapchat needs a little bit more efforts, I think, in terms of, for me, from my personal perspective. But it's great. Tell me about the email newsletter part of it.
Yes.
Because most people think that it's boring and nobody reads it. And I'm one of those who really advocates email, that if it is boring, that means you didn't make it interesting enough for people to engage with. Tell me about what is your experience?
Okay, so basically, like, first of all, like, for you to capture that email in the first place, we call those, you need to put it's called like, it's not a paywall, but technically it's kind of a paywall online. So when people go online and then they start reading into your content, a pop-up comes up somewhere in the middle and it asks them for their email. You will not get the email from that visitor unless you are giving them something in return. So usually in our context, for example, it would be maybe a content calendar that they can use for their social media, because those people are here in relation to how they can handle their social media or how they can get their website done and so on. Not about me, like it's knowledge, it's informational. So if you manage to give them something in return for free, and they give you their email, that's already a trust earned. That's the first step. Okay, so now they get something from you. Now, how you email them and what you email them, we don't email them about a bunch of blogs. We don't email them about a bunch of new blogs and so on. We mainly email, we have that client, that email list, so that in case we want to pay on ads, you can give Google that list of emails, and then Google would generate audience similar to those people. That's one thing. And the second thing, in case we have an offer in place or a discount in place or something that we want people to grab, that's when we put it in a nice way, and also like let's call it a sales funnel kind of way, where we can grab their attention. And it goes over a lot of steps. So the thing is, like, what I think what a lot of people do wrong is that they speak to you the language they speak to everyone else. But the thing is, with Dr. Shambavi, like, she might be in her only discovery phase of what's going on. So if you're just discovering and then I send you an email about a discount, I will not get your attention. Differently than when I tell you about a new technology that just came out, or like tell you about a new tool that you can use for free, to get your things going. And then you go through this journey. Every journey, my email has to be different, my language has to be different, my content has to be different. So it's a big journey. And if you know what customer is doing, everything. Like, I don't know, I know I'm saying this for you, but we really...
No. It's very important for me to, first of all, affirm this, and everybody does it differently. Ahmed, please feel free to share your thoughts.
We just take it religiously. A lot of it is theoretical, but a lot of that has been proven to work, and it does work. So we do it very religiously when it comes to that.
I'm very glad you said about your education as well as now you said the word theory, because of late I've been getting a lot of feedback from people that you don't really need to go to school. Who needs degrees? You can just go ahead. So I'm not saying that people are not successful if they are, if they don't go through the proper educational channel, but your
Yeah.
chances of making it better and going back to your theory, your studies is always very high. And then we teachers need a job, right? So
True.
and whereas now we've become actually facilitators.
Yeah.
So while you have all these resources up, like it's like going into a library and everything is there, but which will give you that quick solution, or which book is going to give you the correct guidance? You don't know that. And do you have the time to read through so many? So education cannot really be, it cannot be said that you can do away with it.
Yes.
So we are also just only facilitators,
Yeah.
guiding you to look at this
Yeah.
X point or Y point now to the
Yeah.
students.
Yeah.
So that brings me to, so you've said about Facebook. What about LinkedIn? Tell me about LinkedIn.
So LinkedIn is a very different platform when it comes to the way you want to address your audience. So LinkedIn is a full of professionals that.
Do you have a page? Sorry,
Yes,
my
we do have.
question was focused. You
Absolutely.
have a page for your
Yes, we do.
company there?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So now the content we make on Instagram and Facebook, for example, we share it on both Instagram and Facebook. But then we stop. We don't go ahead and post the same on LinkedIn. We might post a bit on LinkedIn that's maybe a quote or something motivational in that context, but we don't go ahead and post like a bunch of fluffy kind of things, not for any reason, but for a reason that this is not the language this audience speaks. This audience is more into reading a piece of article that's that's good for them. Maybe reading a bit of how this can help their business. Maybe an industry insight. This is the things that this would get their interest. So we kind of limit ours to maybe a bit of quotes and then also blogging, where people can find value coming onto the page and reading about, oh, this is something I didn't know about. Okay, that's a good read. Okay, and these people are credible. Here's a follow, and so on. So this is our methodology when it comes to LinkedIn as well. And of course, the only problem is with LinkedIn is that as a page owner, it doesn't allow you to do a lot of engagement with other people directly. You need to be following certain hashtags to engage, because social platforms are all about engagement. It's social. It's called social for a reason. You need to technically be social. You need to go there, put your word, put your very genuine comment on someone's post, give your 2 cents, share with them for you to get it back. If you do it on a personal branding level, you will get so much ROI. So if you make sure you go on the people that you follow and you leave, I personally have a guy that has been commenting. I never knew the guy, and he's been liking and commenting on my posts. He's an SEO expert in Egypt. And the funny fact is that now this guy, we work together. Just because he showed.
That's what LinkedIn has done. Yeah, that's what LinkedIn has done. And that's what we keep saying. And that again is another discussion. Yeah, that's again another discussion on LinkedIn, how to strategize and, how to reach the correct people both ways, from whether you're looking for someone or whether you are searching for something.
Absolutely.
Both ways. So that is definitely another discussion. So I'm really grateful you've been there for a long time, and our conversations can really continue longer. Tell me some message or something for young budding entrepreneurs and students, maybe some message which you would like to tell them. And then what is your mantra in life?
Sure. So I always say this thing, and I'll take it as an advice and my mantra as well. I don't want to go 5 years from now, tell myself, oh, I could have done this 5 years ago. This is one thing I really believe in. So life is full of risks. You cannot control everything. So you can only control what's in your hands. So if you have something you want to achieve and you want to follow, go ahead and do it. You'd only know if it's going to work or it's not going to work when you go ahead and do it. If it doesn't work, it's a learning experience from you. If it works, happy days, then you achieved your dream or your goal. So I don't want to tell people to take risks right and left. That's not my message. But just follow what you want to do. Follow it. No one else is going to do it for you. and probably there's someone else out there thinking about the same thing you're doing, and they're going to do it and they're going to succeed just because you haven't taken an action. So this is just my 2 cents.
Right. So thank you so much, Ahmed. And I must say this, I always say in personal life that when you have a friend as a partner in life, I mean, that is the best kind of relationship which one can have. And you have a friend as a partner in your business. So it's the best thing which can happen to anybody. So wishing you all the very best for Colabz and all your other work. Please do share all your links and everything so that I can put it up in the description. And I look forward to meeting you and continuing this conversation, maybe 5 years down the line. And let's see where at that time with Colabz. But before that, we'll talk again on other things. Thank you so much for being here, Ahmed. Take care.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.